You can feel it, right? Something big is about to happen. This preseason doesn't feel normal. There's tension, tough decisions ahead, and the team is at a critical juncture. Some players may stay, others may leave, and the front office needs to balance money, the draft, and protecting the starting quarterback, all at the same time. It's like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and each move alters the next. As a fan, you only want to know one thing. Are we preparing this team to dominate again? Or will we see major changes? The next few weeks will tell us everything. I'll tell you all the details, but first, be sure to click the like button if you've been a Chiefs fan for more than 16 years. It's great to see fans of all ages. There are people here who have been bleeding gold and red for over 30 years. Maximum respect. If possible, comment like this: "Go Chiefs!" Let's start with the biggest signal of all. Brett Veach made it clear that extending Trent McDuffie is at the very top of their priority list. Conversations started last spring and summer, and they're picking those talks right back up now. Veach said they've had strong dialogue and that he would certainly love to have McDuffie here long-term. That wording matters. This isn't passive interest. This is intentional. And here's why this is massive. If McDuffie gets extended, Jalen Watson almost certainly walks in free agency. You can't pay everyone. McDuffie's versatility, inside, outside, slot, gives him premium value. Watson is strictly an outside corner. Valuable? Absolutely, but not as versatile. If there's no extension and something wild like a trade happens, then bringing Watson back becomes much more realistic. But from everything said today, the preference is clear. McDuffie is the cornerstone. Now shift to the emotional centerpiece of this franchise, Travis Kelce. Per Nate Taylor of ESPN, Kelce is strongly considering returning for his 14th season. Veach confirmed they want him back, they've had good conversations, and they'll continue talks with his agent this week. But here's the nuance. The Chiefs are giving Kelce time. He's got life happening. He's about to get married. He's accomplished nearly everything possible in this league. They're honoring that. But they also can't wait forever. Free agency is approaching fast, and you cannot go into 2026 with Noah Gray as your unquestioned tight end one. That's not a knock on Gray. It's just reality. And things got more complicated today when the Falcons franchise tagged Kyle Pitts. That shrinks the market immediately. Names like Isaiah Likely, David Njoku, and Cade Otton become more competitive assets. If Kelce walks, the Chiefs must pivot fast, and that pivot just got tougher. Then there was the Mike Dana move. His release saved $9 million. Veach framed it as giving Dana an early opportunity to test the market, almost doing right by the player. But let's be honest, this is cap maneuvering season, and this won't be the last difficult decision. Jawan Taylor and Drew Tranquill were both brought up as potential cut candidates. The numbers are eye-opening. Moving on from Tranquill saves $6 million. Moving on from Jawan Taylor saves $20 million. That's enormous flexibility. Veach pointed out they still have $60 million in convertible contracts and haven't pushed excessive money into future years. That discipline gives them room to operate. But here's the tension. Jawan Taylor is a starting right tackle, and despite the flags, when he's not penalized, he plays good football. Still, $20 million is $20 million. Unless there's a restructure or extension that lowers his cap hit, the math makes this uncomfortable. Now here's where it gets fascinating. There's buzz linking the Chiefs to Rasheed Walker, the Packers' pending free agent left tackle. But Walker could command $22 to $25 million per year. And that raises a huge question. Why invest top dollar at left tackle when Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia are on rookie deals on the left side, and Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith are already massive investments inside? 4 of 5 offensive line spots feel locked in. Right tackle is the real question. So unless there's a surprise positional shift for Josh Simmons or something unforeseen, splurging on a high-priced left tackle feels unlikely. Which brings us to Patrick Mahomes. When asked about the biggest offensive weakness and how they plan to protect Mahomes coming off a torn ACL, Veach's Veach's answer wasn't what many expected. He didn't say tackle. He didn't say pass protection schemes. He said they need to be more explosive in the run game. That's the strategy. Lean on the interior trio of Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, and Kingsley Suamataia. Impose their will. Establish the run. Take pressure off Mahomes. That philosophy opens the door to something major. Imagine Kenneth Walker. Imagine Breece Hall. Imagine Travis Etienne Jr. Hall is just 24. Etienne brings pass protection and explosiveness. Walker could re-sign in Seattle, but if one of these names hits the market cleanly, Kansas City could make a move. And if the Jets use a transition tag on Breece Hall instead of a franchise tag, the Chiefs could potentially sign him without surrendering draft capital. But here's the twist. Some fans want Jeremiah Love at pick 9. And this is where the draft gets complicated, in a way Chiefs fans aren't used to. They're picking 9th after finishing 6-11. That's early. That changes everything. Round 2 comes at pick 40. That's real capital. Veach admitted this draft is unique for them because they're not picking at the tail end of every round. But NIL has altered the board. Players are staying in college longer. Veach said they had 25 players in their top 75, 100 who decided to return to school. That forced major board adjustments. Prospects are older now, more polished, maybe less developmental upside. And then he dropped something subtle but important. This is more of a rebuilding stage in some areas rather than simple maintenance. That's not minor wording. Defensive line, running back, possibly more. This isn't just tweaking a contender. This feels like a calculated reset in key position groups while trying to remain competitive. And when Veach discussed positional value, he acknowledged the tension between premium positions and elite talent at so-called non-premium spots. He specifically mentioned Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Love, and Caleb Downs as elite talents who could theoretically be in play. Best player available versus positional value. That's the chess match unfolding right now. Now here's where everything tightens. Because when Brett Veach says this is more of a rebuilding stage in some areas, that's not accidental language. That's not casual. That's calculated. And if you listen carefully, you can start connecting the dots. Defensive line was already shaken up with the release of Mike Dana. That's $9 million in savings, but it also signals transition. You don't move on from rotational edge pieces unless you're preparing to reshape the room. And remember, Veach emphasized that premium positions, offensive line and defensive line, are harder to address in free agency. That means the draft could be where they reload up front. Now layer that with their draft position. Pick 9. Chiefs fans are not used to hearing that number. For years it's been pick 31, 32, 30, late every single round. Now they're sitting inside the top 10, then pick 40, then strong positioning again in round 3. That's capital, real capital. Last year they selected Josh Simmons at 32 and had to wait until 63 for their next pick. This year they pick 9th and then 40th. Only 8 selections after last year's first-round slot. That's a massive difference in talent tier availability. But here's the complication. Veach explained, NIL has changed the draft ecosystem. College players are making real money and staying longer. He said 25 players in their top 75-100 removed themselves by choosing to return to school. That forces board adjustments. It shifts evaluations. And now you're drafting older prospects, sometimes the same age as players already on your roster. That means less projection, less mold this clay into something elite, more finished products. And that affects strategy. Do you take a polished linebacker like Sonny Styles if he's there? Do you grab a